Hello friends, welcome back to Style My Sweets. My name is Rebecca. Today I am so excited to share with you this huge compilation of DIY planters and vases that I have made over the last 4 to 5 years. Some of them are more recent and some are just like oldies but goodies that I made a long time ago, really enjoyed and wanted to reshare with you guys. A lot of you probably haven't seen them because like I said, some were from quite a while ago, but they're still just as good. We're still using a bunch of them in my home, with my sister, my mother, my mother-in-law. We still have these and we still use and enjoy them. So I wanted to share them with you guys. And if you are looking for cheap, affordable, budget-friendly garden planters and like DIY vases, I've got you covered because a lot of these are made using Dollar Tree supplies. These are Dollar Tree DIY planters and vases. So I hope that you guys enjoy. Give this video a thumbs up if you are into plants, gardening, live plants, fake plants. Let me know down below. Are you more of a real live plant person or do you like to stick to the artificial variety? I'd also love to hear what you're going to be gardening this year, if you're growing any like edible things or any fun flowers or plants this year. Let me know down below in the comments. That's always so much fun for me to hear about as well. And without further ado, let's jump into this video. So for this first DIY, we're going to take 3 of these styrofoam rings from Dollar Tree along with this plastic waste basket, and I added some hot glue around the inside of the rings and then pushed them onto the bottom of the waste basket as far as I could up, trying to get them up around the middle of the waste basket and pressed as close together as possible. And then I let them dry on there, gave this all a coat of some paint. So I used some chalk paint and then I wanted to rub some sand in here for some texture, and being that we are in Florida, I decided to take a chance with the natural sandy soil here, and because it had recently rained, the soil was a bit wet, so I didn't get quite the sandier textured, dry sandy textured look on here that I wanted, but it kind of made a little more of a mud instead with the paint. But I really like how it turned out. It gave it kind of a nice grayish brown kind of taupe color, and it really has a nice cement or concrete earthen stoneware vessel texture to it. I think it looks really high end. This was inspired by something that I saw at West Elm, and I honestly think that mine turned out really beautiful. I actually really like mine more than I even expected to. So I hope that you guys like this one. I stuck my Monstera plant. I repotted it into something that I could fit perfectly down inside of the planter that we just made, and it's perfect because any water can now drain through right into this one that we just made. So it's like the perfect fit to put them together, and I just love how this one turned out. The next one is also inspired by something that I saw in West Elm, and it is a propagation station. So you guys may have seen when I made this one last year, but I had to share it again with you guys because I use this all the time and I enjoy it so much. I've had it since then and I'm always using it for propagating new plant cuttings. So I really wanted to share this one with you guys because I feel like it's really useful. But I took 4 of these like wooden rectangle pieces from Dollar Tree along with the tumbling tower game block pieces here, and we are going to use a dab of wood glue and a dab of hot glue and press all of these together. You're going to get a quick hold with the hot glue and a strong, secure hold with the wood glue, so it's the perfect thing. You're going to want to make sure that you put together some combination of these tumbling tower game blocks just like I did. That will be a good fit for your glass vase. Now I'm just using one of the glass cylinder vases from Dollar Tree, so I wanted it to fit that. And then I put 2 other tumbling tower game block pieces end to end, and that was the perfect thing to kind of put as the 2 top pieces to connect the whole thing, and the vase can just slide right underneath right into the middle of this, and it just looks so pretty like this. So you can add a little bit of wood stain. That's what I did. Some antique wax, some wood stain, whatever you like, paint it, you know, whatever makes you happy. For the next one, this is one more that I also did last summer, and I really liked how it turned out. So I know that video actually did not get very many views, so most of you guys probably haven't seen this one, but it's so beautiful and I look at it every single day. I have it in my house. We moved it with us when we moved last year, and I really like how this one turned out. It was simply 3 trash cans from Dollar Tree, 3 of these plastic waste baskets, and I took one of them, I put one upside down on top of that, and then one more right side up on top of that one, and you just get a little bit of design to your shape here. I glued them all together. Now I just did this all with hot glue and it works, but you guys, if you want to use a plastic glue, I'm going to link one below that I think would be a stronger hold for you if you want to go ahead and get one of these really super strong like glues that would work for plastic as well. Now I did give this a coat of spray paint, so I just wanted to use something like a nice tan brown color as the base under here because I didn't want to see any of that turquoise color. Now you can go ahead and wrap your whole tall planter vase here with nautical rope, with a, you know, cotton rope, whatever you like. I am using seagrass. I'm going to link this down below if it's something that you guys are interested in, but I think it's so beautiful for coastal decor, boho decor, and I just love how it looks in our home. The seagrass is just a really unique look. To be honest, it's a little bit more difficult to work with than the cotton rope or the nautical rope would be, but I love the finish. It looks so nice on here and so high end, and you could make drainage holes all the way through if you want, but for me, I'm just putting this artificial bird of paradise in here, and I love how this one looks. So here is how this one turns out in our last living room, and here is how it looks currently where I have it in our new living room. Now I had to mention for you guys, since this is a DIY garden planter video, I had to share this little quick tip and hack. Take a kiddie pool, drill some holes in the bottom, and you have the perfect large planter idea. I grew some of my best tomatoes last summer right in here. I grew cucumbers in here, lettuce in here, and I even got my butternut squash started going in here, and they were all going well right up until we ended up moving. So it was the perfect thing, especially in case, like us, we were renting, and this was just a great way to be able to contain all of my soil in here. And like I said, we grew so much stuff right out of this one kiddie pool. I picked this up for free. A neighbor was throwing it away on the side of the road, but you can also find these sometimes inexpensively on Facebook Marketplace, or even check places like Walmart, Target, Home Depot. You never know what you'll find. Another quick option would also be these plastic storage tote containers. I know these are not that pretty, but buying a planter this size can be pretty expensive. Like I said, if you are renting or whatever, you can't plant in the ground for whatever reason, you need to do it in a container, these can actually work really well. A couple of the plastic lids had broken. It wasn't that practical without the lid, so this was a great way to kind of recycle or upcycle. Drilled holes in the bottom, filled it with soil, grew lots of cucumbers in here, and then later in the season I added flowers, and it was just a really fun, easy, free planter idea. Now for the next one, I took this glass jar vase from Dollar Tree along with a few of these little pearl beaded stickers from the Dollar Tree. I just cut these into long, skinny like pieces that I could stick on, like 2, 3, 4, 5 little pearl pieces at a time, and create kind of a little pattern or design to them. And then I sprayed the whole vase over, and here is how this turned out. And I gave this one to my sister when we moved, and it has literally been, I saw it now like a year and a half later, it's still in her bathroom, and it looks so pretty. The plant is like twice the size now. It looks so good, so beautiful, still going strong. For the next one, again, a Dollar Tree plastic planter, and we are going to decorate and embellish this one again with the wooden tumbling tower game block pieces. So I glued these all on here. I kind of staggered the seams or the pattern, so kind of have like a brick pattern going on here. And I just alternated and painted some of them with metallic copper chalk paint, some of them with my white chalk paint, and then some of the other ones I did a little bit of like a mix of some water in with the chalk paint, so it was a thinner paint, and I sprinkled on to those a little bit of instant coffee powder, and it just gave it a little bit of texture, like a little bit of just a little more, I don't know, interest, a little bit of design to it, so it wasn't a solid color and on those certain few pieces. And I just think it turned out really cool. So you can drill some holes in the bottom for drainage. It does, this one actually did come with a drainage piece in the bottom. Unfortunately, when I glued all of my Jenga blocks on, it glued the bottom in place. But you know, it does drain well. And I potted a snake plant in here, and if you guys have had a snake plant, you can go a very long time without watering these. So mine is doing fine in here, and I just don't water it very often, and it's doing great. So moving on now for the next one, I actually just took this little plastic planter from Dollar Tree and decided to decorate the design on the top, just coloring in all of those little recessed detail design. Filled them all in with this metallic copper marker here, and I love how this one turned out for like a nice white and copper pattern or design. It fit perfectly with my home decor, and I just planted a little bit of mint in here. For the next one, we're again using the styrofoam rings from Dollar Tree, and I have 6 of them here. I glued them all together and then gave them a coat of white chalk paint. Now, I did want to actually spray paint these with a stone finish, but make sure that before you use any kind of spray paint on here, make sure that you paint them over with chalk paint, because a lot of times the spray paint is going to eat into your styrofoam and begin to dissolve it a little bit. So paint them with the chalk paint first, and then you really don't have that issue. And that way that stone finish spray paint I used could adhere to it, and it turned out so nicely. And the perfect bottom piece for this planter is one of these plastic garden tray dishes that they have usually in their garden section in the spring in Dollar Tree, and it fits so perfectly for me to just sit all of the rings right on top of it, and then that way if I want to take that tray out of the bottom, it's perfect to just remove and dump out any water that drains out of my plant. I also have this other little planter from Dollar Tree that fits perfectly down inside of these styrofoam rings, so I put some pothos plants in here, and it's the perfect thing to fit right down inside of the ring planter that we made. And I honestly think that this whole thing, the way it came together, it just looks so high end, like something you would find in West Elm or Pottery Barn or Anthropologie. I love how this one turned out, so affordable for like under $10. Now the next one, I am taking this metal tin little container planter bucket from Dollar Tree that they have in their garden section in the springtime, and I took some of the cotton rope that they have and took it apart and then re-braided it together, and then we just wrapped that whole braid all the way around this planter. You can also use some of that cotton rope to, or twine, cotton twine, either one, wrap the handles if you want to, make a little tassel if you want to. I even cut a little piece off the edge of this ribbon that had kind of like a gold metal trim and glued that around the bottom as a nice little accent just to finish it off and complete it. And I popped my Dracaena plant in here, which looks like it needs a little water, and yes it does, but don't worry about that, we're going to water the plant. But here's how it looks when I stuck it in here. Love how this one is looking. Moving on, we are going to be using a bunch of cylinder vases and doing a lot of DIYs with those. So for this one, first one, I took a few of these, I spray painted them white, and then I took a black Sharpie marker, or you can use the black Sharpie oil marker, which I like even better because it's kind of like painting with a marker and it goes on so nicely. But if you don't have that one, you can totally just use a black Sharpie for this and make some different types of designs, patterns, have fun with this. Here are how mine turned out. Now another idea would be to take one of these glass cylinder vases from Dollar Tree along with some of these little round bubble stickers that they have, and you can stick them on obviously in a line. I decided to kind of alternate mine and have them closer together at the bottom and then kind of space them a little further out as we move toward the top of the vase for a nice just variety and interest, and kind of make a unique little pattern here. And then you could leave it like this if you like the colors of those stickers, but to give this a finished look, I'm going to spray paint the entire thing now. And here is how it turned out. I'm adding some lovely flowers in here, and I think this is just a beautiful piece of home decor now. For the next one, I found this glass vase in Dollar Tree, and I wanted to do kind of an Anthropologie dupe. This is my take on one of the Anthropologie vases that I really liked. Painted the vase over white, and then I took this metallic gold paint marker and outlined the design on here. So mine is actually more of a diamond pattern rather than a honeycomb pattern, but either way the vase still turned out really beautiful with the white and the gold edging on it. And honestly, for like a tiny fraction of the price, it was so inexpensive to make. Here is how this one turned out. Now for the next one, we're using these glass cylinder vases again, but this time we're taking one of these pillows from Dollar Tree, and we can save the stuffing for a future project, but we're going to be just simply using the outer covering of this pillow. And I know it's shiny metallic. It might go if you have a little more eclectic home decor style. This might be your style, but for this project, we are going to cut it down to fit right around this cylinder vase. And then I'm going to paint it over with some metallic copper chalk paint. You can actually do this with a black chalk paint as well if you want it to look similar to these that Anthropologie was selling. But I feel like when it dried, it looks so similar to the leather wrapped vase that Anthropologie was selling, and it just turned out really cool. I actually had this little mini cactus plant for a while, and it fit perfectly right down inside the vase. At the top of the vase there, it was just the perfect fit. So I stuck that in there, and then we do need a bottom now for this vase in order to get the full effect like the way that Anthropologie had it. So I used a little bit of wood glue to glue together these Jenga block pieces from the Dollar Tree, and it's perfect because they usually have more of the tan unfinished wood, but they had some of these that were actually already like a dark brown finish on them. So it was the perfect thing to actually look a lot more similar and close to what Anthropologie had. So obviously if you have the lighter wood, you could stain them yourself, you could paint them yourself, but I honestly just use these just as is. Just created like a little 4-point piece for the bottom, like a little X here, I guess, and then made the little pieces sticking up, one on each corner as well. And this just worked out beautifully, and you could set your glass vase right down in the middle. And here is how this one turned out. Now for the next one, we're taking these wire waste baskets from Dollar Tree, and we're going to go ahead and glue 4 of them together, one upside down, another one on top right side up, another one upside down, and then another one right side up. And you can actually attach these using zip ties, which is the perfect way to connect them all together. Just get a bunch of zip ties, and Dollar Tree does have zip ties generally in there that you can find. If you don't have that, you could use glue. You'll just need a generous amount of glue. We are going to be wrapping this entire large vase now. It's going to be a floor planter, and we are wrapping the entire thing with some nautical rope. Now, after this was all glued on, I like to go over it quickly with a lighter and just burn off any of the edges that are on there, like all of the little frayed ends. They burn off nice, neat, and clean, and you just get a more finished, polished look. And then I did use some black chalk paint around the top third of it or so. And now here is my inspiration, so you guys can see this vase or floor planter. It's not really a vase, it's like a floor planter from Anthropologie. Mine was a tiny fraction of the price, and I think I like mine better, but that's just between you and me. Now moving on, the next one would be perfect as a succulent planter dish, and this is taking just one of these little ceramic bowls from the Dollar Tree, painting it over with a very unique kind of block design with this light pink, Victorian pink paint. chalk paint, metallic copper paint, as well as a navy paint. I did some designs with the black Sharpie as well on here. Now for the bottom of it, I found one of these little round trinket dishes, and you can glue this together with hot glue and or some E6000. Something strong like that would also be great to give you just a really good super strong hold. And now we have a nice little planter dish here, and now you guys can see how this one looks compared to my inspiration from Anthropologie. Now moving on for the next one, this is an idea for outdoors. Dollar Tree has some plastic drink pitchers, and they are pretty good size actually. So if you wanted to drill a hole or a couple of holes in the bottom for drainage, you can use them, put some soil in there and hang them on a fence, hang them on a railing, anything like that to just give yourself some extra growing room. Perfect for growing little flowers, maybe marigolds or pansies, any type of little flower, or daisy, or of course herbs, strawberries, things like that. Now another option for hanging these would be to kind of create your own thing to hang them on. So I got this piece of wood. It's like a planter stake from Home Depot. It cost a few dollars, but I did take now some of these Dollar Tree wooden rectangle planks, and we just drilled that on. You could attach them by drilling them on. I would use 2 screws to really anchor it on there so that it doesn't go move up and down. You'll want to make sure it's nice and secure. Then I painted mine over with some black chalk paint, and then I finished the entire thing because chalk paint is a water-based paint. So I painted the whole thing over after that with a dishwasher safe Mod Podge. I was just using what I had, but if you have an exterior paint, you could obviously just paint it with something that's suited for the outdoors to start with. Now it's perfect to hang your pictures on here, and so I picked up some of these larger pictures from Dollar Tree and I just hung them on here. Rosemary did incredible in here. My strawberries are in here. You name it, you guys can hang any of these kind of plants that don't get too large. I even did a cabbage in here. Now for the next one, this is just a pretty little planter cup. You can actually just use it as is. You don't even have to put a plant in it. It's so cute by itself. But we are going to take a round glass vase from Dollar Tree. I spray painted mine with this brown paint, and then I can't remember the color, that's why I'm calling it brown, but it's like a tan color, and I will put the link for it down below because I'm using it in a lot of these DIYs. And then these little mini flower pots that Dollar Tree is selling, I just took 3 that are the same size. So you might need 2 packs because I think they're not all the same size in each pack. They are going to be the legs of our planter. I just glued them on the bottom of that vase. But for the sides now, we're going to decorate this vase using some of these iron-on gold sticker transfer pieces from Dollar Tree. So when I got them, I actually thought that they were rub-on transfers. So I was disappointed to see they were actually iron-on, but I was determined to give this a try anyway. So once the paint was dry on here, I put them on to the vase, and then I used an iron on kind of like a medium setting or so. You'll have to kind of test it out, but I just kind of pressed it on there, held it for a few seconds, and just kept testing it to see when the gold sticker like transferred onto the vase, and it actually worked out pretty well. Honestly, it was not 100%. I had some little mess up and error where it just didn't stick that well, but all in all, I had some pieces that transferred almost perfectly, and all in all, it's actually very pretty. So I just stained those little wooden vase pieces now for the bottom, little wooden flower pots to make our feet, glued those on, and this little vase is finished. I stuck a little plant in here. Again, my plant came in a little pot, so I put the little pot in here, and then the vase that we just made will now catch any water, and it's just a decorative way to display my plant. Now on to the next DIY using these same round clear vases from Dollar Tree. Give them a few minutes sitting in cold water, pick it up, and basically just wipe the sticker off. It just wipes, it like melts right off in the cold water. Let me know if you try it, if it works for you or not. But for this DIY now, I wanted to put 3 of these together and make kind of a decorative vessel. You can glue them together with E6000 or with hot glue. I painted mine over with chalk paint, let that dry, and then you can cover that with some spackle. And Dollar Tree does sell the spackle as well, and I just kind of smeared that all on there. I tried applying it to the glass itself directly, but it doesn't adhere very well to the glass, so I'd recommend just giving it a coat of paint first and then applying the spackle just to give yourself some texture. But if you don't want to get the spackle, another option to get a similar look would really be just taking your chalk paint and then mixing baking soda into it. Mix that all up to like kind of like a thick toothpaste type of consistency, I guess, and then spread that all on there and let it dry, and that will also give you kind of that just more texturized concrete planter look. And then once it's all dry, you can give it a coat with some dishwasher safe Mod Podge if you want. It's an option. I do recommend it just to keep everything sealed. Now for the next planter, this one is really simple, fun idea, and I simply took one of the glass cylinder vases from Dollar Tree and then cut some pieces of this metal ribbon, glued them around the bottom of this cylinder vase. You can do the whole vase if you want. I just did 3 rows high and then painted the entire thing over, spray painted it with some shiny gloss white spray paint, and then I added little decorative designs on top of that metal ribbon. So I just did that with some gold puffy paint, so we have a nice white and gold vase here that has some texture, some color, some design. Here is how it looks with some fresh flowers on our kitchen counter. I think it turned out really pretty. Moving on for the next one, this large plastic cheese ball container. You know, it's a great way to recycle, and makes a really good size planter for if you eat cheese balls or you know somebody who does and you can get a hold of one of these containers. Like, it gives you a pretty good size planter for basically a piece of garbage or trash that you would have recycled this thing and thrown it away anyway. So we are going to make use of this. I washed it all out, and then you will want to drill some holes into the bottom of it. I spray painted the whole thing with a gloss white spray paint, and then I colored 2 gold lines where the little like indent was around the top and the bottom, just to give it a little bit more of a finished look. There's so many ways you could probably think of to decorate this, but I wanted to keep mine simple, chic, sleek. I felt like the white and gold kind of fit with our patio decor, and I just put some Spanish lavender in here, and it did beautifully for the entire season. So love how this one turned out. Now for the front porch, we actually took one of these larger bowls, or well, I did 2 of these, 2 planters, one for each side of the door, but these large plastic bowls from Dollar Tree, they're a nice big size actually, and drilled a drainage hole in the middle, and then some of these also round embossed plastic planters from Dollar Tree. Put that one upside down. That's going to be the base of our planter, and you'll want to line up that hole from the bowl through the planter so that whatever you use can drain all the way through. Again, I would recommend getting some kind of really strong adhesive. So I did mine with hot glue, and they did work really well for many seasons. But if you do want to get an extra strong glue, by all means do that. If you're going to use hot glue, just use a generous amount of high heat hot glue to really adhere these together and press them firmly together. Now I used a little bit of rocks in the bottom for the drainage, but you really don't need to. I think you could probably pretty much fill the whole bottom, the whole bowl with soil, and it would give your plants a little extra room. I thought it would be fun to kind of add something like a greenish thing in the middle, something taller, and then fill in around it with something more colorful and floral. They look so pretty as like at the front door or on the edge of your patio or your walkway. Now this is one that we are throwing back to several years ago now, but I had to share it with you guys because it is super affordable. So all you're doing is taking a large plastic basket, or let's say a laundry basket from the Dollar Tree, and then taking one of their laundry hamper bags, and I kind of put that like inside out over the like from the inside out over the edges of the laundry basket here, sorry, and then pulled the drawstring tight underneath the bottom of the basket, and it kind of covers the entire basket in this hamper bag, if that makes sense. So it's super easy, super affordable. I have to say that if you do get a lot of like severe summer weather, this is probably only going to last you one season, and then you would need to change out that black hamper bag every year. But your plastic laundry basket is still good, and water does drain out of this fairly well, and I really didn't have any issues with it. I planted some beautiful cordyline in here and then some beautiful flowers around it, and it was just so gorgeous for the entire summer. We really loved having this planter, and it did a great job. The next DIY is fun, simple, and colorful. It's one of these planters from Dollar Tree that has the nice diamond texture design on it. I spray painted the whole thing white and then took some of these colorful gem stickers and I added them kind of in diagonal stripes going around the planter. So this just had so much color to it. It was really bright, fun, cheery, and it felt very summery. So actually Dollar Tree has quite a few different types of stickers that you could use to embellish a planter like this, but here is how this one turned out. Another option for some varying height planters are these hexagonal planters from Dollar Tree. Now they're actually kind of like containers, but I put one upside down and then another one right side up on top, another one upside down, and then another one right side up. So I did one 4 high and one 2 high just to get the 2 different heights here, glued them all together, and then spray painted the entire thing. So I tried making this a little bit of some different colors on here using some paints that I had that I wanted to use up, starting out with orange paint and rose gold paint. It started turning out a little bit weird, not quite what I had in mind. I did try out the stone finish paint and some lighter pink peach color paints, and all in all I ended up just layering multiple paints on here until I kind of came up with sort of a basic terracotta type paint. So you might want to just get a terracotta paint if you're making this project and you like the look of this, but I was just trying to play around with some paint I already had and see what I could do. And now for this one, I put some of this burgundy Dracaena in the middle. I love how it's so spiky and upright. And then of course, when you're doing taller planters, it's always nice if you can have your thriller that's upright and then your filler around it and then your spiller of a third plant that kind of will cascade gracefully down the sides of the planter, and it just, your whole planter look and vibe comes together and it's so beautiful. So that's exactly what we did here, adding in the petunias around it and then the creeping Jenny that would hang down, and this is so beautiful. Now because they don't have a lot of soil space, I did need to water these often when it got very hot out, but they did last a long time and look very beautiful like this. So I still really enjoyed these planters and definitely recommend this idea. Now for the next one, this one is very versatile, very quick and simple, simply taking a plastic container, tub, whatever you want to call this, with the handles from Dollar Tree, and I just added some of these little pearl wrap stickers around the bottom edge to make a design, and then I taped off above it and just spray painted where I added those pearl stickers to kind of create a two-tone gray and white look to this planter here. I added a fern plant in here, and it was like a beautiful size to add a nice Boston fern, but you can also put this outdoors, do some gardening in it, have some vegetables, you know, tomato plants, whatever you like. Now for this planter, super simple and easy. I took this tan beige color Dollar Tree planter, decorated it with some puffy fabric paint, and it turned out so cool. I just outlined those lines, and I thought that that tan and white mix was perfect for, you know, more of a modern coastal boho decor, which you guys know I love the look of that, and I really feel like this could fit with any type of neutral decor or even modern decor. It's just so beautiful and simple. And I have this Dracaena plant in here and it looks so lovely. A nice plant holder for a beautiful Boston fern. All you need to do is grab 2 waste baskets. I just put them end to end, zip tied them together so it all looks like one piece, and it's perfect because you can sit your potted fern or flowers or whatever you have, sit it right down inside that wire waste basket and it can drain easily. So this is great, especially for outdoor plants. The only thing I noticed is if you do get a lot of wind, these can be a little bit top heavy and tend to blow over. So just keep that in mind if you're using this outdoors. If you're going to use it indoors though, I did it with the white waste baskets and I tried it out indoors, and I actually cut down like a little plastic white tray to set down inside there as a water catcher. And then in order to kind of hide the little plastic tray that was sitting in there to catch the water, I just took some nautical rope right around the middle, and it ended up again looking kind of like some summery coastal decor. And it was a nice way to also put that fern in there, and it looked pretty nice. It could be indoors, it could be outdoors, but just to give you guys some ideas whether you want to go with the black color, the white color, just match your zip ties to whatever color you go with, and they look so cool. Let me know if you guys decide to make this. You could spray paint those wire baskets to be a completely different color. I took some of these large plastic bowls from Dollar Tree and actually you guys can see here, I glued them together and I painted some of them a black color and put a pizza pan on top and made a little end table or side table that turned out really nice for my outdoor decor. But this is not a video about that. So moving on, I did another set of them and I left the top one upright to sit a plant in, and we're gonna sit this potted fern right up in the top, and we put this at my parents' house out on the front porch, and it looks so beautiful. I spray painted those pinkish red color clear plastic containers, painted everything white just to brighten up their space and, you know, give it a more uniform look as a nice kind of large bubble planter, and I think this turned out pretty cool. Now moving on, we are taking one of these little clear trifle, plastic trifle bowls from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to glue on some of the tumbling tower game blocks all the way around, so 2 blocks high, and glue them all on all the way around. It looks pretty cool like this. I painted the bottom over with some black paint, and I really like the look of the natural wood here, but if you want to, you can paint that wood or you can go ahead and stain it. A lot of times I'll just use a little antique wax, rub some of that on, or even mix it in a little bit of water and then just brush that on, and it kind of makes it like a stain. And that just gave it like a nice little stained finish to darken up the wood and just make it look a little bit richer of a color. Now for the next one, again, a glass vase from Dollar Tree. Spray painted this over with a white spray paint, but then came in with Parisian gray and painted all the way up the widest part of the vase up to the kind of up to the mouth part of it, and painted that over, sponged on that Parisian gray, which I really feel like on top of the white spray paint kind of gives it that stone look, stone concrete finish. So I think that turned out really pretty. I made this one years ago to give to my mom. It still looks amazing. She's still using it, and this is, I don't know why, but I feel like it's still like one of my favorites. Like I just love how this one turned out. It was a bit time consuming because I took these little pearl stickers and cut them into smaller strips of just 1 pearl wide, and I made designs on here and made kind of like V's and diagonals and diamond pieces out of like 4x4 sections with the little pearls, and just created those triangular designs, diagonals, and you can really build this out to be however you want. If you want to save this video, you can come back and look at how I did this again if you want to get the same idea to copy it. But I just had so much fun with this. I love how it turned out. Like I said, it was quite time consuming to get all the pieces on like this, but it just looks so beautiful in the end, and I love how this turned out. Now for the next one, I am again taking this vase from Dollar Tree. So this was actually, I think, left over from another project. It was already painted with some black chalk paint, and I wanted to cover it up and do something kind of fun, fresh, new with this one. And so I had these peel and stick mosaic tiles left over from another project. So I decided to cut them to fit around the vase. And I know Dollar Tree doesn't sell this exact one, but they do sell a whole variety of the peel and stick tiles like this. So you'll just have to find something, you know, if you want to find it there, or you can go to another craft store, or even like Home Depot or something will have other types of peel and stick tiles. So anyway, cut them to fit, and we just applied those peel and stick tiles all the way around that vase, and here is how this one turned out. So the next DIY is one that I was inspired by from this vase or planter that I saw in Anthropologie. And I was inspired to try to kind of create this on my own. At the time, I had not seen anyone make anything that looked like this other than the one that was for sale in Anthropologie. But since then, I made this about 5 years ago, this planter. And since then, I have seen a lot of people like copy this idea. So anyway, I still thought that I would share it with you guys since, like I said, this was like going back to one of my original crafting videos, and so I apologize, the footage is a little bit old here, but it's still one that I look back on fondly, and I really like how it turned out. Even though I know there are multiple ways that you could do this, I braided the nautical rope and wrapped it around one of these Dollar Tree planters, and I actually cut mine so that they would all start at the top and end at the same spot all the way around. So this vase clearly had like a back line to it rather than wrapping it around the entire thing. Although looking back, I honestly think if I was going to make it again, I probably wouldn't go through the trouble to cut it all. Just wrap your braided rope all the way around instead of cutting all the little strips to fit. I think that would be a lot easier. However, if you cut all the pieces the way that I did and line up all of the seams right underneath where one of your handles is going to be, you won't even really see the seam. So for the side, again, a braided piece, and just looped that kind of all the way up and around and glued it on. So this is not a handle that you can pick up and hold. It's more of a decorative detail on the vase. And then you can paint the bottom of this over with some white chalk paint, and it dries hard on there, almost as if it was like a dipped vase. So I think this one turned out really cool. I did my handles 2 different ways just to try, you know, like 2 different ways of braiding them and see what I liked better. But there's no right or wrong way to do this, and like I said, I've seen so many people do this over the years, different ways, since I made this original video about 5 years ago. Now, I wanted to also share one other Anthropologie inspired DIY vase here idea. So this would also be perfect for propagating little plants or anything like that that you want to do. So I have this little wooden piece from the craft store, and we're going to use that as our base now, along with a wooden dowel. Now, the wooden dowel that I am using is actually the handle of a Dollar Tree plunger. So excuse the fact of that. I know it kind of grosses some people out, but I promise you guys it's a clean plunger right from the store. Got this vase in Dollar Tree as well. And then for the top part that's going to kind of hold that vase in place, we are going to use one of these jumbo plastic clothespins. So for the jumbo plastic clothespin, I needed to glue it in place where I wanted it on here. And then also on the back piece, I used one of these little shower curtain rings, also from Dollar Tree. So I know that this is a little bit creative and out of the box, and maybe not quite so practical, because like you can't lift this up by the supposed handle because it's simply a shower curtain ring that's glued on. But if you are using this for a piece of decor, spray paint this whole thing. And honestly, I spray painted it all. I set my glass vase in there and I added some of this lavender plant, and I think the whole thing, it turned out really beautiful. You could add peonies or you know, propagate some plants in here. Super just simple and affordable, and it looks so similar to the concept of the Anthropologie one at just a tiny fraction of the price. So anyway, I thought that was a fun one, and I was so happy with how this one came out, so I wanted to share that one with you guys again. Now, this one, I took apart this oil and vinegar jar from Dollar Tree, took the top out of it, and then we took one of these little Brillo scour sponges and kind of took that apart, and it's actually like a long piece that I was able to put the glass jar down inside of and then cut it off at the top, so the whole jar is inside of this like metal, it's almost like a tiny chicken wire from that Brillo sponge. And I did wrap around the top of it with some twine or nautical rope or something, glue that on there just to kind of finish off and seal off the top where the loose ends would be. And that's it. You can go ahead and add some flowers in here, use this as a beautiful bud vase. This is so perfect for farmhouse decor and really easy and affordable to make. For the next planter, I took one of these other plastic tote bins from the Dollar Tree. These are pretty large and they would make a good sized planter as is. I don't know, I think they're supposed to be for like putting ice and drinks in the summertime or something like that. But we can definitely use them for planters, and they are a pretty good size. So I wrapped some of the twine around the handles, and then I decided to actually just leave this whole container white with that rope around the handles. I think it looks really pretty like that, but Dollar Tree does have these wall stickers that say grateful, thankful, blessed. I put those stickers on the front, and that's it. Just added the design on here, and I think this is the perfect like modern farmhouse decor. Another alternative, if you want to go with a little more of like a French country look, would be to take one of these plastic tote container as your planter, drill some holes in the bottom if you need them, and then go ahead and add on some copper spray paint. And then I added some of the stone finish or hammered finish on there just for a little texture. You can cover the handles in rope, either glue it on or wrap them. And then on the front, I used a chalk marker, or you can use any kind of paint marker, puffy paint, whatever you want, and then write something out, maybe something pretty in French, something about a flowers or a garden, and just make this a little bit more of a garden shop, flower shop piece of decor. And I love the idea of this. I was kind of inspired by something that I saw on Amazon, and I thought that would just be like the perfect thing to add on here. Again, you can put a live plant in here, you can put artificial plants in here, but it makes a nice floral planter or garden planter or anything. You can use this indoors or outdoors. If you're going to do the chalk paint on here though, you would want to give it some kind of sealant on top so that, you know, it's a little bit more weather resistant if you plan on using this outdoors. For the next one, we're taking a glass cylinder vase, and I did kind of create this little hexagon pattern. It is on my website on stylemysweets.com that you could print this off actually, but or you could just freehand it if you want to, but the printable is on my website actually. So I just printed this out, rolled it up, and stuck it down inside the vase, and then I took some puffy paint and traced the design. You could actually trace the design with hot glue if you wanted to as well, because we're going to paint the whole thing. So either trace the outline, the design with hot glue onto your glass or with a puffy paint, and then once it's all dry and you have your hexagon pattern on here or honeycomb pattern, you can go ahead and tape off the top of the vase. And I sprayed the whole bottom half with metallic gold spray paint, and I think this turned out so pretty. I thought it was just a lovely vase idea. You could stick some succulents down in there, or you could obviously just add some flowers, do a floral arrangement. So many ideas and options. Moving on for the next one, I'm taking two of these planters from Dollar Tree, and let me know if you guys have the planters in your Dollar Tree right now, or do you only have them in spring or summer? Now, I just used a drill to make a hole right in the center of each one, and I'm going to use a very generous amount of high heat hot glue, press these together, hold them really tightly together, and then we have a nice little planter here. Could basically just use this as a planter to just catch any water runoff if you're going to set a potted plant inside of this pot. But I decided to actually put some of my pothos plants that I had here inside of it, so I knew it would need to be able to drain. And moving on for the next one, this glass vase from Dollar Tree, I am covering it with a little bit of this marble adhesive contact paper here, and it's so cute. I actually didn't even know that Dollar Tree had carried marble contact paper like this, so I was really excited when I found it. Just cut that down to fit, and then you can leave it like this. It's actually really pretty, or if you want to embellish it a little bit more, I thought that these little rhinestone sticker gems would be fun. This set actually had some little pearl stickers in it, so I went for something a little different. I tend to use more warm colors and tan and gold, but on here we have the white, gray, silver, and we went a little more cool toned with this piece of decor. Let me know what you guys like better. Are you more into gold decor or silver decor? More like warm tones or cool tones? Let me know how you decorate in your house or what you just prefer overall in general. And here is how this one turned out. For this DIY, we are going to make some lovely candle holders or vases for spring and summer. These are going to be so beautiful for any kind of spring floral flower aesthetic. So if you've got any kind of wedding, baby shower, bridal shower, and you're looking for flowers, this is a beautiful option in DIY. I'm taking some pressed flowers. I ordered these on Amazon and I will link them down below. But if you want to press your own flowers, let me know if you've done it, how easy or difficult it is. I have never, actually I think I did once when I was a child, but I don't have much experience with pressing my own flowers and drying them myself, so I ordered these on Amazon. I'm taking some dishwasher safe gloss Mod Podge, and that'll make these water safe once they're dry, and you could use them as a vase or you could use them as a candle holder for some votive or tea light candles. I did a layer of Mod Podge and then a layer of the dried flowers, arranging them how I wanted. Everything besides the baby's breath worked out great. That was the only one where the stem was really stiff and it just wasn't bending nicely to stay on the glass, but everything else worked out really well. And then I did a second coat of Mod Podge on top. I love how this turned out. It's so beautiful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed these DIY planters and vases. Let me know down below if you had a favorite one. I'd love to hear from you. As always, I'm wishing you a beautiful and blessed day, and I will see you guys soon in a new video. Bye.